Hey everyone, this is Nikachu, and there's a very big card we're about to talk about today. We're going to talk about Kumena's Omenspeaker. Could this be the one drop we're looking for? Merfolk is hurting for a one drop. We've been waiting for a new one drop for a long time. The only playable one has been Curse Catcher. Could it be Kumena's Omenspeaker? Let's look. It's a green Merfolk. Kumena's Omenspeaker gets +1/+1 as long as you control another Merfolk or island. So it's a 1/1 creature, but of course it's going to get buffed up if you have an island or another Merfolk, so it's essentially a 2/2 creature. Right off the bat, I'm going to say if you play a blue-green islandless Merfolk deck with Choke, this probably has bad synergy because your deck does not have any islands in it. But if you are playing any other Merfolk deck, this thing is very interesting. And overall, I'm going to go over the points about this card, but it is very hard to judge from the fact that it has this damn green for its casting cost makes it very, very difficult to judge, and it will require playtesting. I talked to Petter Sokrik a long time ago, and we both agreed that Merfolk does need a new one-drop, and he proposed, and I agreed, that one blue 2/1 vanilla creature would be enough. It would help us get ahead. Like turn 1, play this 2/1 creature, turn 2, play Lord, attack for 3, turn 3, attack for 10, put our opponent down to 10. That 1 damage means a lot, and it also means a lot on defense against other aggro decks attacking us. We can very cleanly block a Goblin Guide on the draw on turn 1, for example. But not even that. Let's talk about some difficult matchups like 8-Rack. So 8-Rack can attack with a ton of 2/2 creatures, and on turn 1 we already have something that can trade with another creature as a 2/1 creature. So this is even better than that. This is a 2/2 creature, but it's got this green for the casting cost. What the hell? And that makes this complicated. Like, it's very serious to have a turn 2 creature that is 3/3. So we play this guy on turn 1, and on turn 2 we play a Lord. And the fact that we have this guy as a 3/3 creature, either to attack or defend, is very serious. We've never had access to that sort of power before. Now you might ask, does this card help the bad matchups? Stuff like Titan Shift, stuff like Lantern Control, Affinity, Counters Company, Elves. And the answer is yes, because we are given a better chance to race all those creatures if our clock is just a little bit faster. We can close out the game before they close the game on us. So let's say we wanted to go down the Coco folk route. This doesn't feel right in that deck because it's trying to get synergy off of Collected Company, and it won't. Collected Company is best for enter the battlefield effects and stuff like that. This doesn't have any of those things. It's also going to compete with the Noble Hierarch slot. We want to use Noble Hierarch to ramp into Collected Company and ramp into other things. And ramping into this sort of one drop doesn't make any sense. So let's say we play it in our traditional Merfolk deck, and we just add green. Is it enough for this thing? Because we're going to take a lot of damage. We have to play with Breeding Pool. We're going to have to play with the fetch lands. Great thing is that you could play this thing off of a fast land, the blue-green, like a Botanical Sanctum, because it will get the buff next turn. But that's not going to help us when we're on the draw and we're facing something like 8-Rack or even Burn. They're going to attack with their Goblin Guide for 2 damage, and if we played this thing off of Sanctum, if we played this guy off a fast line and we have no island in hand, then it's just a 1/1 creature, and it defeats the purpose of wanting the 2/2 creature in the first place. So if we want the buff, we need to fetch for a Breeding Pool or play a Breeding Pool, which is going to shock us. We're going to take damage, and I don't know if that's what we want to do. It's definitely going to be better on as an aggressor, though. So, it has very awkward synergy in a Coco Folk shell, and maybe it's playable in the traditional Merfolk deck, but we're going to have to take damage. We're going to have to play the fetch lands, the shock lands. But I would open the idea to maybe playing like a 3-color Merfolk deck. I've realized with sparingly seeing results on Magic the Gathering Top 8 that 3-color Merfolk is possible. You know, we take so much damage off of just splashing the first color that I don't think we take a whole lot more damage adding a 3rd color for that much more power. So splashing green may not be so bad if we're open to exploring like a 3rd color in some way, but I don't know what that color would be. So this is, yeah, it's very, very hard to evaluate this card. Why did it have to cost 1 green? Why couldn't it just be 1 blue? What else to say about this thing? Yeah, it's also nice that, so maybe you don't have an island out at first, but we can get an island out later, or we could get the Merfolk out later, and it will get bigger. And another thing that playtesting might reveal is how conditional is this? Is this hard to have an island or Merfolk in play? I can definitely see games where we play like turn 1 Cavern of Souls, we play this guy, and then on turn 2 we play like Mutavault into Silvergill Adept, and that Silvergill Adept gives this guy +1/+1, but then our opponent destroys the Silver deck with some sort of removal spell, and then all of a sudden we just have a 1/1 creature with no abilities, which makes him worse than Curse Catcher. So my final verdict is that this card is very unique. It's very hard to judge just by looking at the card. We're going to have to get into our hands and into the deck and see how it works. Maybe it's good in Coco Folk, I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's good in our traditional build. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not good at all. Or maybe it's going to be amazing. I don't know. We're gonna find out. So this has been Nikachu talking about Kumena's Omenspeaker, the newest spoiler from Ixalan.